Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new horror movie review. And this horror movie review is going to be for a horror film that came out in about 1974. Sorry guys. And it was directed by Tobe Hooper, who would go on to direct Poltergeist several years after this. And it was actually known for being one of the most controversial horror movies of the 70s and an influence to the horror genre. Drew a mixed response at first, but now has praise from critics and is regarded among the best slasher flicks, one of the most influential slasher flicks ever made. And that is, of course, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. Now, and yes, like every other slasher, this movie has a few sequels. There is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, released in 1986, I believe. That's considered an okay sequel. That's not really great like the first one, but just an average slasher sequel at best. Nothing bad about it. Then there's like 3 and 4. I forget their names, but I don't care because they're absolute dog shit. And it has a 2003 remake. That's probably my second favorite of the Texas Chainsaw films. And in 2006, that remake got a prequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which is my third favorite. And then there's, of course, they tried making a direct sequel and direct prequel to the original 1974 film, 2013's Texas Chainsaw 3D, and of course 2017's The Leatherface, that much like 3 and 4 in the original series are also known for being dog shit. So, you're probably wondering what my thoughts are on the next and the other planned direct sequel to the original that will thankfully ignore Texas Chainsaw 3D. Well, I have no idea yet. We'll have yet to see a trailer when they finally announce a release date, and when they finally release a teaser. But I really hope they get it right this time. But anyway, on to this movie. So, what is Texas Chainsaw Massacre about? Well, when Sally hears that her grandfather's grave may have been vandalized, she and her paraplegic brother Franklin set out with their friends to investigate. After a detour to their family's old farmhouse, they discover a group of crazed, murderous outcasts living next door. As the group is attacked one by the chainsaw-wielding Leatherface, who wears a mask of human skin, the survivors must do everything they can to escape. So, I remember first watching this movie one Halloween, and yeah, God, this film is still freaky even today. Like, it was freaky in the 1970s, and it's, even today for a film that's like really old and was released in the 1970s, God, it's still freaky. Like, this is probably one of the scariest movies I've ever watched. And that's why it's actually one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And here's why that is. One, because of course it's responsible for helping to lay the groundwork for the slasher genre even before Halloween. And it made the hitchhiker and abandoned houses popular cliches in slasher films like... yeah. The cinematography has this old grainy look which gives it an ominous feel. Despite its name, this one hardly has any chainsaw kills for the series. In fact, this one has very little blood in general. Even the remake is much gorier than this one. This movie relies on suspense and tension. It actually relies on suspense and tension that scares viewers rather than graphic gore, which is actually kind of a different approach to the horror genre. I mean, the rest of the movies would start applying to chainsaw kills and would rely more on the gore, but this is probably the one that relies on tension and scares. There's still some good acting, iconic camera sounds, a great soundtrack, there's excellent casting, and probably has one of the most terrifying scenes in a horror movie, which is specifically the dinner scene, especially with the main character Sally screaming of agony. Actually, fun fact, guys, those screams are not scripted. They're actually real screams, as Sally's actress Marilyn Burns implied, the dinner scene drove her insane and terrified her. Yeah. Sheesh. That's still a hard to get through scene. Like for a 1970 film, that is one really that is probably one of the most horrific scenes I've watched in a horror film. Well, but since, due to its disturbing imagery and violent content, it was unfortunately banned in several countries, including Brazil, France, Germany, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Singapore. Due to its violent, at the time it was violent, but nowadays it's probably the one with the least graphic kills, and that's really saying something. I think the only other thing I didn't really like was the ending, really. I mean, it's good that Sally at least does escape from Leatherface, but I feel like it ends way too abrupt. I mean, all it really ends with is just him swinging his chainsaw out of frustration, and then it just abruptly cuts to black. Like, I really wish they came up with a bit of a better ending, really, because that ending felt way too abrupt. But, all in all, I don't think I have any other bad qualities. It's still one of the best horror movies of all time. It's the best film in the series. Second place being 2003 remake and Texas Chainsaw The Beginning. Well, Texas Chainsaw The Beginning being in third place. Yeah, screw you haters. I like Texas Chainsaw The Beginning. Bash me for it. But so yeah, if you have not seen this horror movie yet, I would go check it out. It's a masterpiece achievement in horror filmmaking, and here's how I would obviously rank it. I am going to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 a 10 out of 10. Well, covered the first film. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't present the DVD, guys, because I don't own this movie. But I only own the remake and Texas Chainsaw The Beginning on a double featured DVD, which I am going to be both reviewing, which are both going to be the next reviews. So do stay tuned for those. But until then, that'll be it for this video. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.